After World War I, most Germans did not expect to lose. Many people were shocked and angry that their leaders surrendered and fled. While many revolutionaries fought for control in the capital of Berlin, many Germans created a new democratic government in Weimar. In such a short amount of time, Germany's monarchy has changed to a democratic government. The destruction of the monarchy and the huge change in German government caused many people to become power hungry. Many young men who fought in World War I were disappointed when they saw the new German and Austrian societies. One of these men was Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler was an Austrian citizen who signed up to fight in World War I. He was recovering in the hospital from a mustard gas attack that left him partially blinded. When he learned of Germany's defeat, he soon moved to Munich. Hitler was like many of the other Germans, some of them from the old army, some not, but all of them were broken because of Germany's recent defeat. Many of these people didn't like the new political revolutions that were happening. Hitler was among these people and was looking for an answer. He soon found comfort in the German Workers' Party, which was an organization that already existed. Because for his gift of public speaking, Hitler quickly became a dominant figure in this party. Later in the early 20s, the party changed its name to National Socialist Germans Worker Party, now more commonly known as the Nazi Party. This party and their beliefs gave Hitler an explanation for Germany's defeat in World War I. The main reason that was shared around this party was that their country was ruined not by the soldiers, but by rebel forces in their country that undercut the war effort. This reason was the core belief of this party. With that, they also believed that among these rebelling forces were the disabled, homosexuals, communists, and most of all, they blamed the Jews. During the Great Inflation of 1923, Germany's currency was becoming worthless. To put this in perspective, one American dollar was worth around 1 trillion German marks. Prices of certain items rose a lot because of this, and it didn't help Germany with the money they had to pay to France and the UK because of the Treaty of Versailles. This made France angry, so they decided to take some of their factories from an area called the Ruhr. The French killed around 130 Germans while occupying this area. Unsurprisingly, this made Germans angry. Hitler was among these people, and since the cause of the great inflation was the government, he decided that it was a good time for a revolution. This got him arrested. He was put on trial for treason and was sentenced to 5 years in prison, of which only 9 months were served. Later on, during the Great Depression, around 6 million Germans were in poverty, and many of them were tired of the democracy they had. Many Germans went to political extremes. Since the Nazis were an extreme right party, they had a bulk of non-communist people. During this time, the Nazis used propaganda to promote their ideals and Hitler himself. Many of these ideas appealed to Germans because they provided them a blame for the defeat in World War I. This soon made the Nazi Party super popular, and they rose to the top party in the 1932 election. This gave Hitler an ego boost that was really over the top. It seemed as if he thought if he was some sort of savior that was going to save Germany. While he didn't get to become president, he wanted the current elected president, Paul von Hindenburg, to make him chancellor. Many other countries and leaders were watching this all unfold, and they didn't really want Hitler to become chancellor, for obvious reasons, so many of them tried to convince Hindenburg to not make him chancellor. Soon Hindenburg was made him chancellor because he was convinced by Franz von Papen, who was the leader of the Centre Party. 2 months later, Hindenburg died, and Hitler took this chance to become a leader. During this time, many communists were conveniently sent to prison. As a result, Hitler had little competition to contend with. In 1933, Hitler passed the Enabling Act, which gave the German cabinet, mainly the Chancellor, the power to make and enforce laws without the involvement of other political leaders. Basically, this gave Hitler the chance to become a dictator. After dealing with a few issues with his army, Hitler retained the majority of control. From this point on, life in Germany changed. Freedom of the press, expression, and public assembly were banned. Many Jews were mistreated and labeled because of Hitler. Eventually, Hitler had many Jewish people killed in concentration camps because of the Holocaust. Hitler Youth was also a way to ensure that boys and girls grew up to be Hitler's ideal man or woman, basically brainwashing them. Many more things changed, but these are a few examples. The simple combination of a hard life and loss in World War I, which gave him anger, being part of a political movement that made him feel like a savior, and thousands of people looking up to him, made Hitler a maniac. These actions would soon lead to one of the worst wars in the world, and give Hitler the label of one of the worst people in the world.